I got a 22 out of 200 on my final, so here's an episode of Batshit People from History. For better or for worse, it's been a long time since we had a president be assassinated. I sat here naked in my chair and started seeing if any presidents recently have been almost killed. And oh boy has there been some attempts. Abraham Lincoln was riding back home at nighttime after a long day's work at the White House. Suddenly in the distance, he heard a rifle shot, followed by his hat being whipped off his head. He looked out, saw nobody, and then continued riding on. When the guards on duty asked the president where his hat went, he told them it fell off after his horse was spooked by gunfire. Then, they found the hat with a large bullet hole in the middle of it, and then Lincoln told them to keep quiet as not to scare his wife. What a Chad. When you want to kill a public official, the best way of doing it is through direct means. But Gregory Lee Langang took that a little bit too far. One day, Gregory had enough of everything. Life, liberty, and he wanted to pursue his passion of brutally killing the President of the United States with a forklift. When Trump's motorcade was near a fuel refinery, Gregory stole a forklift left outside and began to drive it at its max speed at the presidential limo. And then it jammed. And then he tried to run, but was immediately caught. The best part is, nobody knew he was trying to kill the president up until he admitted it. At first, they thought he was just some cracky who wanted to be goaded out of the sticks. He's serving 20 years now. Osama bin Laden got his inspiration from Frank Corder after his daring and, dare I say, inspiring flight in a Cessna 150 to kamikaze the Oval Office with Bill Clinton still in it to kill him. Frank was an angry, depressed, drunk man whose third wife had just left him. I don't know why she left him, he sounds pretty great to me. Anyways, to deal with the black void that his third ex-wife left him, Frank decided to make a name for himself. He drunk himself into a stupor, he then snuck onto an airport and stole a plane, and then he put himself onto direct course with the White House. As he was drunk, however, he tried to steer towards the White House, but managed to hit a tree and die instantly instead. Also, Bill Clinton wasn't even there at the time, so, yeah. Gerald Ford was a lucky duckling who had two different people try to shoot him in the same month. September of 1975 wasn't a good month for old Ford, as it was the first anniversary of the pardoning of Nixon. A lot of tension was built up, and when he went to shake the hand of Lynette Froms, she drew a pistol that failed to fire. It failed to fire because she forgot to load the firing chamber. She was immediately detained, and then just 2 weeks later, Ford's would-be assassin, Sarah Jane Moore, opened fire on him. Thankfully, a bystander knocked her arm down before she got a clean shot, and she only ended up hitting an innocent taxi driver instead. I think a good bit of advice is that if you're gonna point a gun at a president, shoot to kill. They are both actually freed, like on the street now. They've been out of prison for like 15 years. The more you know. Before Franklin Delano Roosevelt's inauguration, he toured the country in a victory tour and took a stop in Miami. While standing with the then mayor of Chicago, Roosevelt saw a commotion in the crowd, and then 5 shots rang out. Giuseppe Zingara had just missed all 5 of his shots on his target. He managed to hit all 5 people next to Roosevelt, and he ended up killing the mayor of Chicago and injuring the other 4. At his trial, Zingara stated that he was going to kill all kings and presidents first, and then all of the capitalists. Needless to say, that wasn't the best defense. After receiving the death penalty, his response kind of sounded like a Dr. Seuss book. Quote, "You give me electric chair. I no afraid of that chair. You one of capitalists. You is crook man too. Put me in electric chair. I no care." Zingara's death sentence also helped create the more modern depiction of death row, which is cool, I guess. Anyways, gang, the moral of the story is that while sometimes killing politicians is wrong, it doesn't always have to be what stops you. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Aki, for subscribing to my Patreon. Love and kisses. And if you like this video, I have another video that you should watch, so go do it.